You never lend money to family. It always turns out bad.
Yep.
Right?
You only lend money to family, and you don't figure on getting it back.
Well, that's,
Right.
yeah. Then it's not really a loan, it's just a donation.
And, yeah, and if you get it back, fine. If you don't,
Yeah.
I just don't like donating a
for
lot.
kids.
What's that? You guys should really have-
Yeah, I turned it on.
I'll zoom in after they do the pledge and dance and, oh, sick. No.
So have you guys come up with anything to give to the Lions for?
Ooh. We got an idea.
Joe, can you hear me?
I can.
Good.
Yeah. But will they donate?
Testing.
Joe, am I good? Once again? Am I good, Joe? Yes.
No.
You're not good. Joe.
Obviously, I'm not. I gotta turn it on, I guess.
Joe,
Powder up.
601.
Everything's running.
Gentlemen, are we ready?
Testing.
Now, can you hear?
Testing.
Gentlemen, ready?
Yep.
Ready? Karen?
Yep.
All right. Town of Vernon Board of Supervisors meeting for February 21st, 2019, 6 p.m. Come to order. All rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Chairman Thomas Byrd.
Present.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Present.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Present.
Supervisor Ed Moline. Supervisor Bill Craig. Mr. Chairman, note for the record that you do have a quorum of your town board, and also note for the record that Fire Chief Alex Feldy and Assistant Fire Chief Patrick Hayes are with us this evening also.
All right, thank you. Open meetings law compliance.
Mr. Chairman, the agenda was posted inside and outside the Vernon-Town Hall to the media, to businesses within the town of Vernon, and on the town of Vernon's website. You're in full compliance with the open meetings law.
All right. Public comments? Are there any public comments? Come up and state your name, please.
Joe Riley at South 67 West, 24425 Skyline Avenue. In regards to the second forum, okay, the second forum is scheduled for March 19th, 2019, and the backup date is March 20th, 2019. The email, in other words, we all set on that? Okay. There are 3 different ways in which you can ask questions. You can come to the forum and simply take an index card or several index cards and a pencil or pen and write out your questions and make sure that they're handed in prior to the start time of 6:30. Okay? Or you can just send a letter to the town of Vernon, care of Candidates Forum at West 249 South 89 Kent Center Drive, Big Bend, Wisconsin 53103, or you can use this email address, forum, F-O-R-U-M, small case, forum 2, the number 2, TOV 19 at AOL.com. That's forum, F-O-R-U-M 2, small case TOV 19 at AOL.com. Make sure that your questions are issue orientated. Again, just consider the situation. You can watch the very first debate if you happen to miss it. Okay? All you have to do is go to YouTube and in the search engine put down Town of Vernon. Capital T, Town of Vernon, capital V, and that should get you where you want to go. If it doesn't, just write in Vernon candidates forum, and then the pound letter, number 2, and that should get you where you want to go. Okay? If you haven't seen the first forum, which was held this past Wednesday. Let's see if I've got anything else. One thing that I wanted to mention, if we won't take any questions that are sent in any later than 2 p.m. on March 19th, or if the case necessitates a backup date, March 20th. 2 p.m. is the cutoff line. Let's see if there's anything else. Again, make sure that your questions are issue-orientated. Okay? Again, we won't deal with anything that involves personalities. Nothing combative. And again, please, if you would, send them in early as you can. You can send in 1, you can send in 5, you can send in more than that if you wish. Okay? Again, thank you very much for the opportunity.
The chairman announces possible closed session and reads the following notice. Consideration and possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin Stat 19.85, Paren 1, Paren E, delivering, negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. More specifically, negotiations for a border agreement with the city of New Berlin. Included in the closed session will be the Vernon-Town Board of Supervisors, town clerk, town attorney by phone if needed, and motion will require a roll call vote. Number 7. Miscellaneous matters. The following matters will be discussed and possible action taken by the town board unless otherwise noted. Item A. Presentation of the Vernon Fire Department. Presentation from the Vernon Fire Department. Chief?
We wanted to give you guys kind of a recap of what 2018 was like.
Alex, can you take that microphone?
Are you use this?
Yes. You're not loud enough.
I am loud enough. Better?
Oh, that's really good. Wow.
Not too loud. We wanted to give a recap of 2018 in terms of the department's activities and an annual report so that our citizens and our board are aware of what we've done. Talk about some accomplishments through the year and what we have as some goals for the upcoming year. Volume good?
I think you're good. Can you hear him?
Can you hear me?
I don't hear it through the microphone.
Okay. You don't hear it through the microphone.
Okay, go ahead. Start singing.
Hello. All right. So, as most people hopefully know, we operate on a part-time structure for the community. The fire department is staffed during the daytime hours, Monday through Friday, with in-station staffing with personnel. We run with 5 people, much like a career fire department, so that we have basically an immediate response to about 95% of the calls that we have for service that we get. That consists of some staggered shifts with an officer, some part-time firefighter paramedics and firefighter EMTs, supplemented by myself and Assistant Chief Hayes as part-time chiefs during the day. Again, this provides us with the opportunity to provide an immediate response to any call that we get for service, and greatly decreases the amount of time that it takes for a department to respond when we have station staffing like we do. So that's something that we've done since we've started with the new department in 2010. We've done a very good job. I think we've done a good job of trying to maintain our people. We've gotten great support from the board and from the community, and we've become a community that has a very good reputation for being able to provide service not only to our customers, our citizens, but also our mutual aid neighbors that we work with on basically a daily basis now. When we switch gears a little bit at night, our staffing consists of paid on call program, but essentially is in-station staffing because the majority of the people around the fire department for your community do not live in the area. So they end up staying at the station. So essentially we had typically 5 people at night as well. That was something that has helped us again decrease response times, provide a reliable response for our calls of service. We run with 5 at night as well. We have a paid-on-call lieutenant who runs the shift. He's responsible to coordinate his people. He is also responsible for making sure that he got adequate coverage for paramedics, drivers, things like that. We also have 2 part-time battalion chiefs that help supplement the night staffing. And between us 4, we always try to make sure that one of us is available. With a part-time organization like we have, obviously, it's a challenge sometimes to ensure that we have the proper coverage. That's a challenge that myself, Chief Hayes, Chief Kubaki, Chief Holterman talk with each other on a very regular basis, basically every day. So again, whether it's night or day, we're able to provide an immediate response to a call for service in our community. Our only challenge is the geographic size of our town, which creates some of our little bit longer response times because of how far we have to drive. But again, people, once the alarm goes off in the station, they're usually out the door within a minute or so. So we've continued that since 2010, Patrick, and it's worked very well. We've never had a call we couldn't respond to, right?
Correct.
Where other communities have. So again, having a part-time structure provides a lot of beneficial impact from a financial standpoint, but also creates some challenges for us in terms of staffing and logistics. Our command staff currently is myself, Assistant Chief Hayes, Battalion Chief Kabaki, and Chief Holterman. That's the original command staff since we started the department in 2010. It speaks a lot about not only our organization, but the ability of our people to want to be on this fire department. Same thing with our department officers, our company officers. We have 6 company officers who do a great job of ensuring that we have adequate coverage, we provide a high quality of service, and we keep our simple mission statement that we treat people like family as our number one concern.
They've all been with the department since
Yes.
they started also.
All of those officers are all charter members of the new department since 2010. So I think that shows a lot about the organization, the people that we have, the people we hire, and how they're treated by the community, by the board, and by people that receive the service. Because we get a lot of phone calls, a lot of letters, a lot of thank you cards saying, your people treated me really well, and that really helps motivate our people. Department apparatus-wise, we're in very good shape. We're in excellent shape. We bought a new engine, obviously, recently. Our oldest engine is a 2006. NFPA standards talk about 20 years for engines, but we have a great plan developed that we've been able to pretty much stay with in terms of an apparatus replacement plan, which is great. We're actually in a process right now. One of our goals is we're going to be speccing out and finishing our specs on our new ambulance this year. But the nice thing to know is, and for people in the community to know, is that the equipment we have is maintained very well. It's ready. It's there so that when our people need to go to work, they have the best tools and the best equipment to do the best job. You'll see on there's a couple things that are a little bit older. We have an older pickup truck from 1991. We're going to get collector plates for that pretty soon, I think. But we've kept it in good shape, and it's still serviceable. So there's a couple things up there that we're going to hopefully update the Argo next year, or this year actually. So this is our fleet. Again, a lot of equipment, but it's equipment that we need to do the job. A couple of accomplishments from 2018, I think, that are important that we highlight, because some of these things, people say, well, why do you help your neighbors out? Why do you help, people in Waterford? Because at the end of the day, number one is our citizens go all over the place. Number two, we've developed relationships. We've built not alliances, but we've built some agreements where we now are able to kind of benefit from some of that help that we created in the past. We've had a joint paramedic program providing ALS to the town of Waukesha. Again, we started that program on the premise that we provide them some ALS services, and they provide us a ladder truck on a structure fire. That provides us with staffing, and also we don't have to spend $1 million on a ladder truck. So that's a win for both communities. Same thing with Waterford. If you guys remember, and we had your support on it, was when we started about 3 years ago, Patrick, with Waterford, and they wanted to get a paramedic program going. We knew at some point that they were hopefully going to move on to be their own licensed agency. And this year, they actually have started to do that as of January 1st. It may result in a little bit of a revenue decrease for us in terms of intercepts, but we're still their primary backup. They're also a resource now that we have, that when we have a structure fire in the town of Vernon, they are sending a paramedic ambulance to us automatically. Because we have a challenge that if we have a structure fire, all of our people are being allocated for fire suppression duties. So to offset not having an ambulance out the door right away, we now call Waterford and they send us a paramedic unit. So, you know, we had an investment and some time and some effort in the front end, but now we have a resource that we can use when we have a fire and our people may need something. We had that incident this year last year with the structured fire where someone got burned. And we didn't get the information right away, and we had to call a mutual aid ambulance to come in and transport that patient because we had not gotten the accurate information. So now we have, and we solved that problem by having them come automatic on every reported structure fire. And again, these are all things that are a realization today because of the support we got a lot from the board. We came and said, hey, here's what we want to do. It was helping a neighbor, doing the right thing, but also at the end of the day, we got something in return that we know we can count on. 2018, we're also awarded a DNR wildland fire grant. It's a 50-50 grant, but we got money for a new skid unit for our Argo, which is going to give us a lot of capabilities we have a lot of marsh areas, obviously, with the Vernon Marsh. We can utilize it for grass fires and also for search and rescue. We occasionally get someone that gets lost in the marsh. You can imagine it's a lot easier to drive an amphibious vehicle than try to walk around back there. So we also did some live fire training this year right across the parking lot here. And most of the town board was there to watch the training evolutions. The building ended up being a great resource for us. We did, 17, 18 burns out of that little place. A lot of coordination that went into it with some of our company officers. Lieutenant Schopius kind of spearheaded that whole program. He did a lot of coordination and everything went off without a hitch. It couldn't have gone any better. We had no injuries. There was no real issues with any type of environmental stuff. And at the end of the day, our people got a lot of great training. We saved the town some money by burning the place down instead of paying to have it, torn down and shipped to a landfill. So it was a win-win across the board. And then finally, last year in 18, we did a reevaluation of our ISO. We originally were a 7 or /9, depending on who you talk to. We went to a 5. We're right now negotiating with them because we missed a 4 by a 0.05. So we're going back to say, hey, I think you made some of your assessments were off a little bit, and we got a couple more points coming. To go to a 5 and then hopefully to a 4 will be a substantial decrease to your fire insurance. And if an insurance agent tells you that it doesn't matter, then have them call us because they're wrong. It does. It's a huge thing. And Ed sat in on the interview with the ISO guy, and one of the things that he said, the reason that we went to a 5 was because of our staffing. That's a huge component of the classification rating. That, coupled with training, that with a new fire truck that had a lot more water on it, all those things helped us get to that 5. There are very, very few fire departments in the state that run like we do in smaller, non-hydrogen departments that are a 5. Typically, those are the 7, 8, 9s. So it will impact the community in terms of what you should be paying in your homeowners for fire insurance. And again, a big part of that was getting that new engine company, and also having these automatic aid agreements we have, where we have agreements with New Berlin, Mugwanago, Waterford, Big Bend, all of our neighbors that if we have a structure fire, they're sending us some resources. And we're doing that back and forth with each other. But again, that's all stuff that we were able to accomplish because of the support we got. You guys were able to, allocate the money for a new engine. We did some stuff there with that glider project and hopefully maximize the funding that we had. And at the end of the day, we not only did we save money for the town, but we increased the level of service, and hopefully by decreasing our rating to a 5, we're going to save the taxpayers money that's going to would normally come out of our pockets for insurance. Last year we did 636 calls for service, 426 of them were EMS calls in nature, another 210 that were others. Anything you can think of, from odor investigations, fuel leaks, wires down, all those different general things are into those other 210 calls, or 23%. Average response time was right about 6 minutes and 30 seconds, which is very good for a community of our size. You got to remember, we're 36 square miles, almost, with the exception of a little puzzle in the middle that's taken out. So that's a great response time. It really is. Now, could it be better? Absolutely, but that goes back to, again, things like technology getting a little better. The county's going to be implementing an automated dispatch center, or an automated CAD, that hopefully sometime this year, probably second or third quarter. So that'll help shave a little time off too. And again, it goes back to the fact that we have people in the firehouse that can roll out the door when that pager goes off, and they're on the way to your emergency. And it's basically, with the exception of the turnout time, it's travel time. So, estimated fire loss this year was roughly about $425,000. We did have a house explosion that is still under investigation by the Sheriff's Department. But that was that house that night, or that morning, that was basically fully involved when we arrived. What I would hope you take out of this picture was, looking at the amount of fire, this is what it looked like when we got here. Our guys did a phenomenal job, number one, of being aggressive, and even though the house is a total loss, you can see there's still some of the structure left. So even though we faced a substantial amount of fire here, these guys did a good job of getting in there and knocking it down and eliminating the damage. Okay, again, obviously it's a total loss, but we've had a lot of those instances where our guys are very aggressive. They do a very good job of, not only if it's something smaller, of once the things are kind of contained, getting in there and doing a lot of salvage and helping people get stuff and valuables out. So we had several vehicle fires as well throughout the year. Fortunately, we don't get a lot of fires. That's a good thing. But it's nice to know that when we do get them, we have our mutual aid partners coming, and our people are very well trained and very motivated and can do a good job for our community. Obviously, the majority of what we do is EMS. Chief Hayes kind of coordinates a lot of the EMS responsibilities, does a lot of the quality assurance, does a lot of the interactions with the billing company, and we provide service to our community. We, typically we do everything from a routine EMS call. We've done some interfacility stuff. We've taken people to different hospitals, as long as it falls within the medical need, so that our citizens get the best level of service they get. We occasionally use Fly for Life, although our paramedics do quite a bit. So really, we don't have that reliance on the helicopter like we used to have, right? It used to be every time you thought someone was hurt, you call them. Our paramedics do a very good job. For us, sometimes makes more sense to transport that up to our trauma center instead of waiting and calling a helicopter. And obviously, we work with the medical examiner if things have a poor outcome. We still go to a lot of different hospitals. Essentially, we feel that our customers, our taxpayers, if they want to go to a facility and it's medically necessary and they're medically stable, we'll take you where you want to go. Because at the end of the day, if we take you to Hospital X and you want to go to Hospital Z, guess what you're going to get? Another bill for an ambulance ride. So we try to get you to where you want to go. One thing to keep in mind for the people in our community is that ProHealth has an ER out in Mugwanago now. It is not a regular hospital where people go to the hospital, go to the emergency room, and then they stay there for 24 hours, 3, 4, 5 days, whatever. If you get admitted, you get shipped out of there. So if you're having something, chest pain, shortness of breath, stroke-like symptoms, all those different things, you need to be calling 911 and having us show up at your house, assess you, get you loaded up, and get you going to the right facility right away, versus putting someone in a car, driving over to Pro Health, maybe waiting in the lobby for a while, eventually getting seen, and then getting shipped out in an ambulance to whatever hospital they decide to send you to. So that's one of the things that we've gotten some feedback from our residents on, is that, well, I thought that was a hospital. Well, it's a standalone ER. There's a couple of them in the state now. There's also one in New Berlin, right, which is run by Freighter. Same thing. You go there. They need to transfer you somewhere. They call an ambulance. You get a bill, and off you go. So keep in mind, if it's something that's those critically acute things, the chest pains, the shortness of breath, all those different things, stroke-like symptoms, people need to be calling 911 right away. And we'll get there. We'll do an assessment. We'll get you to where you need to be. Okay. We'll even go to the VA. We go to Elmbrook. We go all over the place. Just a little graph here to give you an idea. Our call volume's pretty much constant throughout the week. There's no one day. Hump day sometimes seems like it's a little bit slower than other days, but you'll see even the weekends are pretty constant. So, that's why we have to have our continuous staffing 24/7, because we average basically about 2.5 calls a day, and that's how it kind of breaks down. Calls by hour of the day, just another little tidbit to show you that obviously our greatest time here is in that middle of the day to after traffic type of thing, 8 o'clock at night. People are coming home, people are going to work, or coming from work, so that's where we have our most calls. And that's why when we originally started our program, we focused a lot of our staffing on that time frame. So it works out pretty well that way. Just an idea, you guys are very well aware, the board's very well aware of what new things cost. Like anything else, nothing's cheap anymore. We just bought a fire truck, and we did a glider project where we saved some considerable amount of money, but just a run-of-the-mill brand new fire trucks, $550,000, $600,000. Ambulances, we budgeted $245,000 this year. Self-contained breathing apparatus are about $7,000. Defibrillators are $30,000. Those are all things that we need to do our jobs, obviously, but also do need to be replaced on a regular basis so that they're reliable. Protective gear, thermal imaging cameras, all those different things. The other thing too is the cost of going to paramedic school now is about $5,000 or $6,000. When I went to school, it was $850. So it's gone up a little bit in the last couple of years. Patrick went, I think it was $440 probably. Right? They had a couple tablets, and you were good to go. And just for us to send an EMT, if we get a brand new person comes into our organization, maybe someone in the community wants to join the fire department, it costs us $1,400 to send them to school. By the time you do books, you do tuition, you do the health stuff, everything else. So there's a substantial investment that we have to make in people if they come from the community and don't have any skills for us. So just an idea of what it is, and so people understand where some of their tax money goes. Okay. As we move from, I'm sorry, I have a typo here, but as we move into 2019, a couple goals for the department. Obviously, we're working on getting our new ambulance spec'd out and ordered, upgrading the Argo as well. Part of our capital also was to upgrade our pump trailer to the ambulance chassis that we're going to replace. We're still working to try and find the best RMS system for us. Chief Hayes and I have been working on that. We got it down to 2. Obviously, for us and for our community, continue to give high quality of care, high quality of service to our members. We do that through training. We adopted using Target Solutions last year, which is an internet-based training platform. What it does is it gives our people the ability to train while they're in the station, but also if they're at home if they're somewhere else and they have time, they can go online, and some of our online-based training helps get them prepared for what they need to do as either an EMS provider or a firefighter. Chief Hayes puts a lot of those out. He'll put up EMS one or a fire one, and they have a certain amount of time frame they go through it. So that helps. And we also get some of our SOP changes out that way too. Or medications are another good example. If we get a new medication, the doctor says, I want you to use this, we put it out through the training platform. They go through, they review it, they do a little test online, and then we have an insurance that they know what they're doing. So it's worked out pretty well. I think it saved us a lot of training time or money because a lot of times they're doing it while they're sitting around at the firehouse anyway. So it's worked out well that way. Obviously, we want to keep on providing the highest level of community service that we can. I think that our people really are sincere, they're genuine, and they're very professional in the level of service they provide to our customers. With that being said, we still have a challenge. We have a lot of challenges with staffing because we lose a lot of people to full-time career departments. Now, thankfully, a lot of those people, after a short period or sometimes a leave of absence or a probationary period with their full-time employment, do come back. That's why it's important for us to make this a place where we want people to come back and work. We're very fortunate that a lot of our people do come back and work. But that's something that's not only challenging us as a department and a community, but everywhere else in the state, let alone country. People are a true resource and a commodity now. So we've started to talk with other departments about sharing people, sharing cost of gear. If we have someone that works for two different departments, why buy two sets of gear? Maybe we buy one set of gear and we split the cost. So we've done some of those things. We've talked to some of our other departments about working that way because that minimizes the amount of funding that we have so that we can get and maintain quality staffing. As always, we always look to maintain our daytime staffing because it's a challenge again, not only nighttime but daytime, because during the day a lot of people are gone at their full-time job. We're also looking at, and again, with the support of the board, looking at in the future, we talked about the SAFER grant, maybe writing a federal grant for some staffing in the future that lasts for a certain period of time. Or maybe our SCBAs are going to be coming up for replacement probably in, I think, next year or this year. Remember back in, I think it was 2006 or so, we got a grant for SCBAs, $240,000 from the federal government. We had a small match that we had to do. We're going to go in and we're going to go down that avenue again so that we can replace all that, give our people the best equipment that they deserve, but do it at a low impact to the community. So it's hopefully instead of spending $250,000, $300,000 in air packs, we can get some of that through federal funding. So, and you guys have always been great about supporting that, which we greatly appreciate. Kind of a real quick overview of what the fire department's done last year, where we want to go this year. Again, we appreciate all the support that the community gives us, you guys give us. Without that support, that cooperation, we wouldn't be as successful as we are. And we truly appreciate that from you guys and also that from the community. It's greatly appreciated. Any questions you guys have, or? Boss? No.
I hear we had a visitor last night.
Yes.
A crew.
Yes. And channel from CBS 58 came by. Chief Hayes was our spokesman. I kind of joke he's got a face for radio, but they did a good job of explaining that, we had one of our residents, Sue Fisher, had called them and said, hey, you know what, our department, it's a smaller department, and we're working to try and get them some help. And she was made aware of a story they did about cancer, and she's truly supporting the fire department and wants to help us get what we can hopefully get to redo our shower and bathroom facilities. There's been a huge awareness for firefighters in the last, 5 years? Right. About cancer. Cancer is affecting firefighters a lot. A lot of it is, I think, because back in the day we were not as cognizant as we should have been about what our exposures were. years ago, like you said on the news last night, you're all dirty, you're all grimy. You know, you've seen those pictures on oh, that guy, you know, yeah, he's cool. Well, the actual reality was that we were exposing ourselves to that stuff. So we push now. You get back, you get your stuff off, you get your stuff deconned, you get in the shower, you get clean. Was that a shower within an hour to go?
Within the hour, yep.
Shower within the hour. So, you know, when you got 5 people in one shower, it gets be a little challenging. So,
It's a big shower.
it's a big shower. Right. Well, we just use a hose, but it's a little chilly. So, but you know, but she approached us and said, "Hey, we want to help you.
Yeah.
We appreciate everything you guys do for us. We really want to help you. So, we're going to work with you guys. We have already identified earlier about some needs that we have with that shower because we fixed it in 2000. When was that? Back in
10, 11?
10?
12, 11,
12?
something like that, yeah.
You know, and it's used every day.
And along with that, you know, a washer dryer is 10 years old.
Yeah.
And
Dryer's not.
it's important
not.
that they contain their turnout gear.
Didn't we just
Yeah,
replace
okay.
You
it?
know, bunker pants and
Save
jackets.
money on it. $7,000.
At $7,000, you gotta be able to wash that stuff. So
Yeah.
we gotta take a good hard look at showers because to me, we've got male and female. Okay. And we've got to wash their clothes. Is what we have sufficient enough to do that?
Yeah.
We need to take a look at that. So we have to put some type of program, and we were talking to the chief here, and you know, the building was built when, 25 years ago?
Gary would probably know.
A lot longer than 25.
Yeah, more than 25.
I mean, and I mean, you guys know that
Yeah.
we come to you all the time saying, hey, the heaters went out on a roof. Like, remember when the heaters on the roof were bad?
2 years ago,
The roof
we did the
itself only
kitchen,
lasted 5
squad
years.
room.
Yeah.
So we've been, you know, sticking money into it, and we're gonna have to
building
do some
was
with
built on
showers
cheap.
and the washing machine bay area.
You get what you pay for.
And you know what? Unfortunately, people who did it on the cheap aren't there to be responsible now.
No.
You know, and we've never had a problem saying, hey, we got to fix something. And we have money in our budget to do some smaller stuff, but some of the stuff is going to be some substantial investments. But again, it's cooperation, it's communication, and you know, and hopefully doing what we can to make it right for our people.
Just a question, are you guys still participating in community education in regard to the schools and
Yep.
stuff? You go out on a regular basis
Yep.
on that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if during Fire Prevention Week, if you're involved in that pretty heavily.
And our plan this year is we want to get out, as school starts to get close to being done, we want to get out again and hit the schools to make sure these kids, because what are kids going to do all day when they're at home in the summer?
Yeah.
That's where kids get bored and start doing some stupid stuff.
Yep.
So we're going to try to focus on hitting these kids at the end of the year. Now, granted, the attention span's probably, you know, that of a gnat, but we're gonna try to get out and say, hey, you know what, kids, in the summer, be smart. Not only with fire stuff, but just in general.
Yeah.
You know, don't be swimming if you don't know how to swim. Don't be going into, you know, some of these different hazards that potentially bad things happen with.
Especially with the tragic events that our department was part of this week.
Yeah.
You know, to let those kids know to go home and check smoke detectors, make sure you have plans to get out and all those things.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious, just for public information, you know, to make sure that you'll be out there.
You put together a real nice program for the board to look at regarding vehicles, maintenance, upkeep, and the rolling numbers that are needed for that. It'll really be helpful if you looked at what you have for washing machine, dryers, showers, things like that, and put together something that looks like a replacement program for that, because that's major money that we've got to look at and plan for. So the more information you can give us on that with timing, schedules, replacement costs, or replacement times, we'll get the cost, but the times, that's almost invaluable when you start looking at budget time. I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
People should be aware that just going over your reports for, I think, the last 4 months, you give overwhelming mutual aid out. Not that we're looking to be even, but we get very little in reference, like probably 10-1, I think is the ratio, right?
Way over that.
Which is fantastic. We're out there helping other municipalities.
We're more than willing to work with anyone, but they have to be willing to work with us, obviously. The way our philosophy is that at the end of the day, it seems all washed out in the end. You know, and we've had some incidents in our communities where we've called for substantial resources, and you know, no one's got a problem sending us what we need because they know we're more than willing to reciprocate with them. And I think that goes a long way. You know, call volume is important not only from the standpoint of keeping your members interested, but the more you do things, the better you get at them. So our people have a very good reputation. They go somewhere, a mutual aid incident, they know Vernon shows up, they're here to work. They know, these other chief officers know our people show up, they're qualified, they're professional, they know what they're doing, and they're motivated, and it's not uncommon for our guys to come up somewhere and, hey, we're here, and then all of a sudden they're getting the task right away. So,
I have a question for you. I know that in the past we've had some issues where other departments are understaffed quite a bit and tend to use us for backup. I'm looking at September through December's mutual aid versus mutual aid received versus given. During that period, we received it twice, according to the report. We gave it 57 times. That's pretty out of balance as far. Have you looked at that lately to see if other departments are just short of people and playing low on a budget and we're filling in the gaps for them with our expense?
I think a lot of that goes to the fact that we have our in-station staffing, that we have the ability to handle multiple calls. There's a lot of departments have one call and they're done. Or sometimes, like you said, their staffing's somewhat shaky that they may at certain times of the day not have adequate people to respond to a call. There are some communities where we'll send an ambulance, mutual aid, and, you know, if it's an early morning call because they can't get someone out, we end up doing that transport, so we do generate that revenue, which we wouldn't have generated. But at the end of the day, you know, it ends up being that we're probably in a better position right now to handle our own stuff versus what other people do.
So what I think you're kind of alluding to too is we get calls for, it's a mutual aid call, but it's for a change of quarters, meaning they want us to come to their station and make sure that their station's staffed. Right. We had this week where we got called off for a change of quarters, and I told to send the ambulance, but not all the way. So these guys went to Tishigan, and they were sitting in the ambulance at Tishigan, ready to handle the Waterford call, but they were also ready to handle anything we had.
Both ways. Yeah, I'd like you to take a look at, out of that 57, is there anyone in particular that seems to be drawing more than their share of mutual aid? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we can look at that.
Because I know we had a problem in the past, and we talked about it.
Well, we don't get calls.
So some of that just has to get...
Well, I know where we don't go a lot, but
yeah,
let's leave it at that.
But 57 to 2 is a little out of balance.
Right.
That means we're too good.
Well, you know,
it can't be too good.
And again, that comes back to having support from our community, having support from you guys, and having our people in our station available for a call. Yeah. And when your neighbors know that, I don't say they rely on it, but they're confident that they're going to call you, you're going to show up. Yeah. There's other communities that get requests for a paramedic intercept, and it's not uncommon for them to say, we're taking a pass because we don't have staffing. Well, then we take the backup stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so, and again, those intercepts do generate revenue, but our interest isn't more revenue, it's more providing that service to the community. Because you know what? We don't know, maybe that person in Wales is someone who lives in Vernon. Maybe that person in McGuanago is someone who lives in Vernon.
And
you
our crew's getting experience.
And our crew's going out there to help someone, and they're getting
here's something like
experience.
that, I have no problem with it. When we talked about one group that had limited staffing,
right,
and they'd call us to sit in the station while they were out doing their calls.
Yeah. And we fixed that problem.
Yeah.
Good. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Always.
Any other questions, Emma? Do we want, you have anything to add on the reports from September through December of 2018? Anybody got any questions?
You have them all now, right?
Yes, sir.
So they run back.
Yeah. And again, looking for input. If there's something in there you'd like to see, something you don't want to see, we're flexible with that. We just try to make it a quick snapshot for you. I don't want to kill 1,000 trees just to, kill some trees, but we want to get you just some basic information so you're educated. So if someone calls and says, hey, why are they doing this, or why were they out here? Because I get phone calls all the time. Do you know your ambulance is here? Yeah, I know. I'm sure you're in the same position. So we just try to keep you guys informed.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Hayes. Mr. Selby.
No.
Item B, advertising sponsorship for Foxwood Abandons. That was directed director. Jeff, you want to handle that?
Sure, yeah. Mike couldn't be here tonight, so that's what I'm doing. Basically, the bandits have been renting the field from us for quite a few years now. They also help in maintaining it and do quite a bit of work on the field. The field they use is the one over here on the west, farthest west, the west side. That's the one they use. What they're looking to do, they want to sell sponsorship signs. Sounded like they want to do it more within their group, not going out to so much of the businesses in town. At a cost of $200 to $250 a sign. It should be a 3 by 5 foot sign. In exchange, we would receive 15% of what they sold the sign space for. They would typically have them up just for their season, which is, Mike told me May through July, but I see an email on here that says March through July. I'm not quite sure how soon they would actually start, but they're usually done by the end of July. All the signs that would be on the inside of the fences, so you wouldn't see them from the road or anything. They'll be visible when you're at the field. Other than that, if you guys have any other questions on?
Do we have any liabilities if they get stolen or something like that? I mean, it's their property, on our property, so.
Yeah, I would just ask that they follow our sign policies. I did call John, our DPW director, and asked him about hanging them on the fence. We have to worry about spacing. I don't want to see the wind come and pull the fence over or anything.
Yeah.
There's no one who in charge of hanging them.
That feels that small enough, it's not going to be a.
It hasn't been a problem.
It
It hasn't been a problem in the past because we've only had a couple up in the town. But depending on how many get, no.
Yeah.
But have John overseeing it, But yeah, we will talk to John about it and look at the messages. I think that'd be I think we can talk a little better.
What about the wording on the signs? What are they going to be consistent with our policy?
Well, that's why I asked them to follow our sign policy that we have in place.
What are they going to be advertised, like businesses?
That's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
You put that kind of money in a sign, I don't think it would be a personal nature.
No.
We'd want to have some say on the type of businesses they advertise.
On our sign policy now, we have to approve all of them before they go up.
So that would be our business. Works for me.
Any additional revenue Parks and Rec can generate on the train road, once they follow our rules and regulations.
You see that later.
They know actually how many
Yeah,
signs you
you'll
want
see
to
it
put up.
later.
Jeff?
I don't, depends on how many they can
You
sell.
put that like on your Facebook.
Just curious.
Jeff, is Mike's
No,
understanding
yeah,
is
do you have a
that,
Facebook account?
renters,
We'll talk.
but the fees will go directly to his department or will come via our budget? In other words, it's kind of vague to know how that's going to be dealt.
I would assume the bandits would collect the money, and then for every sign out there, we would get 15%. If it's $200, that'd be $30 per sign.
Does it go into the Park and Rec budget, or does it go into the?
It has to
Gotta
go
into Park and Rec.
It has to go into general budget initially, and then you, as a board, can make a determination on how you want to allocate it.
That's what I'm wondering.
Doesn't Park and Rec have a?
Yeah, but your policy says it goes to the general fund, and then from the general fund, you as a board can make a determination how it's implemented.
Yeah.
There was one thing on here, Jeff, on an email. It said, Mike has a conflict with, Jeff wants to ask you a question. What is it?
Thanks again,
Mike
guys.
couldn't come tonight, and so I talked to him and tried to get the
Bye, guys.
questions figured out, so I could answer them.
Okay, when you said conflict.
Yeah, he said Mike couldn't be here.
Okay, all right.
Bye, guys. Thanks again.
Where are we going with this? We need a motion?
Well, it says here, the policy, it's a policy decision, this is what Attorney Mason says. This is a proposal the town has been asked to review. The request, as I understand, is a request to rent the fence and place signs on the same so that the entity can raise money. There are some legal issues which must be addressed. It's my understanding that the town has a policy dealing with the signs on the field. The same will need to be reviewed. Any such decisions will set precedent. Also, the content of the signs might be an issue.
What are the legal issues?
Well, you can't. A few years ago, we got from Mr. Macy that from the federal government, you can't really restrict.
Tom, I'm having trouble here. Sorry.
The restrictions are what is allowed, and what isn't allowed, because it's real touchy. But we've got the policy that it states that the town of Vernon does not intend for this to be an outlet for expressive activity, debate, or discussion of public issues. The advertising should be of commercial enterprise located in or surrounding the town of Vernon. All advertising allowed to post with the town parks will fit the confines described in the policy to promote public safety and to preserve the health, safety, welfare, and reputation of the town of Vernon. So,
Okay.
I think that if Mike follows that sign policy and brings it to us, that we could take a look at it, that make sure it meets.
So if we made a motion to go ahead with this, to accept allowing them to do this based on the policy that we have, following the policy we have, which means we put the final okay after we see the signs.
Or see the wording on
The wording on the signs.
Yeah.
That, I think, pretty much covers what we're after.
Wording / pictures. I don't know.
Send it for legal review, it probably costs us more than the income that we're gonna get from the sign revenue.
We're not gonna do a legal review in here.
No.
In the policy here, it gives a prohibited advertising information that is intentionally false, misleading, or deceptive, advertising of alcoholic beverage, tobacco products, or any other addictive products, advertising, promoting, or showing firearms or weapons of any sort, advertising, promoting illegal goods, services, or activities, advertising and infringe on any copyright, trade, service, mark, title, or slogan, advertising that are deemed or discriminating to individuals or groups on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, ancestry, gender, age, disability, ethnicity, or sexual orientation, advertising that contains any sexual orientated material, or advertising that contains any profanity.
Okay.
And that's all prohibited.
Okay, by saying, make the motion to.
With the CBD oil becoming more common, they say that's not an addictive product,
I don't want that advertised.
but I don't think we need, I don't know if we should include that in our policy.
Well, that would fall under
Under what?
drugs, was it?
No, it's not, according to the CBD oil, it's not addictive, we took the THC out. It's, you listed tobacco, alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol, tobacco, or any other addictive products.
But the CBD oil is not supposed to be addictive. The THC, I did, it's supposed to be out. Yeah, so I wonder if we have to expand on that to include the CBD oil,
Wouldn't be a bad idea to add.
because we got the new business going in Big Bend there.
Yeah, it's coming in.
So do you want this on the next agenda?
I think for the
As a change?
advertising sponsorship policy, just for that change.
Update the sponsorship policy, basically.
So it says here advertising stipulations, the rec director will purchase the banner. Banners must be 3x5 vinyl. Is Mike gonna purchase these?
No, I was under the impression the bandits were gonna do all that.
So we're gonna have to change that also then? Because it doesn't say that they can do that. It's under advertising stipulations.
You know, as we add, the recreational director will purchase the banner, or unless other arrangements have been made,
Or his designee?
or his designee, yeah.
Well, that should be in there, so that should be one thing we should look at. And maybe Mike should take, you and Mike should take a look at this, and then we'll put it back on the agenda. And then we can go through this policy.
Yeah, because we've got time before the season starts.
Yeah, when do they actually need this?
By March, I think.
Well, probably the sooner the better, so they can start trying to sell signage.
Well,
We could,
what do you want
see,
to do?
what's our next meeting? It's
The
not that
7th
far
of
away.
March? March 7th?
It's the next meeting.
Do you want these both on the next agenda, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
In the meantime, we just tell the bandits the preliminary most likely will allow it based on conditions we have to change.
Yeah, does anybody have a problem with
No.
them doing this?
No.
Okay, you can tell Mike that, you can tell him no problem.
We just gotta make a couple of changes on
There
our.
and make some, to make it fit with what they wanna do.
They were good customers.
What's that?
They've been good customers over the years.
Yeah, and they do so much volunteer work on the field too for
Yeah,
help
help the
DPW
maintenance.
out, yeah.
So you want a motion to table it?
Sure, I'll make the motion to table until our next board meeting.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, Phase 3 update, McGonagall border agreement. All right. So, 2 weeks ago, we went through the actual boundary draft, and I'm gonna go through the sewer draft tonight. I'm gonna review here. The Fickout annexation was in '98. The Village of McGonagall, filing a petition, for land for section 17, 18, 19, 20, 29, and 30 was in '99. Then the hearing of the petition in the court was, in '99 also. 2000, the consolidation meeting. 2002, the Village of Big Bend Circuit Court forced Town of Vernon for their incorporation petition, which opened up the way for the consolidation, which was 10 months later. Then all this was going on while the Fickout annexation was going on in 2001. Court of Appeals dismissed it. Then in 2001 also talks with the village for a border agreement, and then draft for a boundary agreement in 2002, and the consolidation for the village of Big Bend. And then in 2002 also was the agreement for the treatment of wastewater between the Village and Big Bend. So that's where we are up to now. So then, the agreement, and this is a draft for 2012 agreement of the treatment of the wastewater between the Village of McGuanago and Consolidated Village of Big Bend and Town of Vernon. So, it says, whereas the Village of McGuanago owns and operates a wastewater facility, it says, certain properties in Consolidate, specifically Hidden Lake subdivision, they were going to collar Hidden Lakes because it says in the agreement here, on need of sewer. That was 17 years ago, like I said last time. The driving force there was to get the sewer started and deadheaded down National Avenue so they could service 164 National. Then Consolidated Village has no wastewater treatment. Consolidated Village, whereas the Consolidated Village will construct and own a wastewater collection system and force main interceptor system. So you got a Consolidated Village will construct and own a wastewater collection system and force main interceptor sewer system. You got to remember that. And it says, whereas the Village of McGuanago accept and treat wastewater, and it says, whereas Consolidated Village does not have the personnel equipment to facilitate, necessitate, or operate and maintain the collective system for serving the Hidden Lakes subdivision for the Village of McGuanago, agrees to operate and maintain the system. So, the general intent, the combined village intends to plan, design, and construct a wastewater collection system and the service area. Service area for the treatment for combined village shall include the lands generally described as Hidden Lakes subdivision. Then down on the end, it says areas not within Hidden Lakes subdivision service area may be added to the service area only after negotiation agreement by the Village of McGuanago. So, there's the caveat right there. They can, but it's only with negotiation. It doesn't have to come to the public. It doesn't have to come anywhere. They can make the decisions. Collective system. The combined village shall be responsible for the construction and the ownership of the wastewater collection and interceptor sewer system located within the Hidden Lake subdivision. The combined village shall also be responsible for the construction and ownership of any part of the force main or interceptor system necessary for connection to the Village of McGuanago. Combined village shall obtain approvals, Village of McGuanago, for all plans and specifications for construction. And then the village ordinances, restoration, and construction must be approved by the village. Okay. Then after the construction of the wastewater collection system, an interceptor is completed by the village, and after loan debt incurred by the combined village for construction of the same has been paid by the combined village, ownership of said collective system and interceptor shall be transferred and conveyed to the Village of McGuanago without charge. Everybody get that?
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to build it, we were going to pay for it,
They're gonna take it.
and then we were going to give it to them. Flow meters, combined village shall install necessary devices of meters approved by the Village of McGuanago. Now when I'm saying the combined village, I'm talking about Town of Vernon and Village of Big Bend. That's what the combined village is. And flow volumes Parties agree that wastewater generated by Hidden Lake service area shall be of normal domestic strength. Purposes of billing, the combined village flow bottom shall be based on master flow meters described in section D. Then the combined village shall adopt as soon as practical sewer regulations. Parties of Village of McGuanago shall have the right to inspect all users within Hidden Lake subdivision. Sewer service connections. No connection shall be made to the Hidden Lake subdivision area collection system without prior written approval. And then it says here, the Village of McGuanago shall have the right to inspect the combined village building permit records to ensure compliance with this agreement. So if you can read the lines between, they're trying to protect themselves. For anything added without permits, combined village shall be liable for payment of all charges. Wastewater treatment. The sewage treatment rate shall be established and modified by the Village of McGuanago from time to time as to ensure that all users of the wastewater treatment system pay an equitable and proportionate rate of the cost of providing wastewater treatment. Okay, combined village shall install appropriate shares of operation, maintenance, replacement, or capital costs for wastewater collection. So, the wastewater treatment charge shall be applied to the total wastewater flow as part of the village's sewer utility budget. The village has established a separate account for the combined village for the miscellaneous non-capital expenses for incidental maintenance and supplies incurred directly for services in the combined area. These expenses include, but are not limited to, meter reading, meter calibration, maintenance, and supplies and phone lines from the lift stations and alarms systems. The forced main with the pump, so when the pump goes down or goes out, that starts to back up. So that's why they have to have the alarms, and they got to get somebody out there to fix that. Connection fees. All connection fees shall also be levied on all new construction to the sewer system of existing connections that have had a change resulting in additional use of system capacity. Ready service fee shall be levied on any property which has sewer service available to it, but is not currently connected. So you can see there, the town's paying, the connection fees are all new connections are ready to service fees they have in there. Let's see here. Combined village area in the event of a violation of this agreement, or the McGuanago Municipal Code may sue for penalties. Keep accurate books and records need to be kept. In terms of the contract shall automatically be renewed for 3 years. Additional penalties, either party may use or in court record for declaration judgment. So, as you can see, we were building it per their specifications and turning it over to them. And they were using Hidden Lakes again, which, that was 17 years ago. They don't need it now. They didn't need it then. So, that to me was another failed excursion. So, any questions? So that's the recap of what went on from 98 to 2002. I had a person ask me the question, how could they negotiate a border agreement as a combined village when they weren't combined? Legally, how could they do that? I don't know.
That may be the reason they shut down, or part of it. And they were trying to do both at the same time.
Well, they were trying to do a lot of stuff and came down to there all over the place.
Look at
They
the
were,
dates, they're identical in those projects.
they were helter-skelter all over. They were in that Pico annexation, in the suit, and then they were trying to, a border agreement, consolidation.
A lot of irons in the fire.
It was all over the place. A lot of money, a lot of tax dollars.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to have border agreements. So, those documents are online. You can get them, you can read them verbatim, whatever you want to do. It's just more for the education of the town. Any questions?
No, just the concerns that part of their own board was aware of what was going on.
Yeah,
Part of their own board was in total darkness.
And the public.
well, that's why we have chapter 5 now.
You know, and back then, the internet just came out, and we weren't using the internet to broadcast any information out to the residents, or the residents really weren't using it yet. So if you weren't attending a meeting,
You didn't know what was
you
going
know
on.
what's going
Yeah.
on.
A lot of the meetings were held outside the public domain.
Yeah. Not here.
No.
Anything else? Bill, you look like you got something on your mind.
Well, no, I'm just thinking about the hidden costs. They reference them in there. Everyone's responsible for their connection fees. I think I haven't kept tabs on mosquito and sewer the last few years, but a few years back, they were looking at, I believe about 9,000. This is just a privilege fee. This is no physical infrastructure. It's about 9,000 for the privilege of getting into the sewer, and about 6,000 for the privilege of getting into the water. But just, I call it a privilege. Now you install the laterals to your property, and now you've got a user fee. Sometimes metered, sometimes not. So I'm sure people had no clue where this was all going.
No.
I don't know where they're at now, but when I lived in McGuanago from 1970 to 97, I started, it was $15 a quarter for sewer water. That's all it was. When we left, it was just shy of 300 a quarter. So it just kept increasing and increasing. I don't think it's going to stop. Its cost is there.
And we don't have a choice.
No, that's not an option. And when a meter goes out, you pay for it. It's their meter, and you pay for it.
Okay.
There's one other thing, Tom, while we're talking about that. We've had a lot of discussion about notice and what we've done for notice on the meetings. I think it's important for the public to be aware that this was put into a newsletter in 2017, and copies of all this stuff is going to be available here for the meetings that we've offered, with the dates and the number of different notifications that have been given to them. And we've laid it out. There's a ton of different notifications that will be given. We did not do a general mailing, but we have internet, we have newsletters, we have meetings with minutes. There's really no reason someone should not have known about this.
Yeah,
So I'm going to dispute that comment.
again, the dispute, you know, they say they were never informed.
Yeah.
Well, we've got over 50 times this has been on the agenda. The clerk's compiled,
Yep.
and that's from 7/16/15 to 11/1/18,
Yeah.
and we're still talking about it.
And they say you can lead a
public
horse to water, you can't
notices.
make him drink, and that's part of this program. You gotta pay attention.
The fall 2015 newsletter that goes out to everybody
Yeah.
has articles in it from me, from the clerk. It's got a map in it. There's several newsletters. public hearing on the 24th, and then the public hearing on the 28th of November. The other one was in October, so we had 2 of them. So I don't know how much more you can tell the people or lead them. You know, it's
How much better you can validate that, that's it.
I don't know, but then
That
still you
happens.
see letter circling that they weren't notified. Well, I'm sorry they weren't notified the way they want to be notified, but legally they were notified.
And that dispels
Through the
any questions
agendas.
about that.
Right. So item B, policy and fee for brush pickup and wood chip delivery. I got a call from one constituent. And, well, you put this on here, Bill, so you can start off.
Oh, okay. I got several calls, 5 or 6 anyway, and discussed quite length with people, the pros and cons. Most of the people understand the issue that it's kind of a luxury to have double pickups. Pickup in spring, pickup in fall. Most people were not too concerned about a $30 mulch delivery. That seemed to be acceptable. So anyway, I took a look at where we're at in the whole thing. I know way back when we started discussing this, I was one of the ones in favor of omitting at least one of the pickups. And I still stand that ground. I think with 2 pickups, as we were doing it for quite a while, it's pretty expensive. John had given us the cost here, of course, and he's laboring there. But backing up and taking a look at this, I wonder if we would be, for now, well off to have one major pickup besides spring or fall. And the parties I talked to couldn't even agree necessarily on that. Some were pro
I
spring.
got more spring than fall,
You got more spring? Okay.
out of about a dozen calls.
Okay. So I started thinking, okay, what if we went to one major pickup, spring or fall, whatever we decide, mulch, charge a $30 fee for delivery, just the way it's set up, and the other half of the year, if we decide we want to have a pickup at all, that should be per fee also. In other words, we go back and throw one pickup in, spring or fall, and then the mulch delivery would stay at $30, and any brush pickup beyond that seasonal pickup would be $30. Just working in numbers, I just kind of factored in the average of our workers about $45 an hour. For John, there's about 3 solid weeks of work for each pickup season. That's about $21,600 in labor costs. So I backed that out of the total, because we were looking at about $41,000 for spring of 18. So if we were looking at the $41,000, and then we're delivering mulch for $30 per load, and then basing this on about 80 loads, we were running 61, 79, 77, so I rounded to 80 loads at $30, that would be $2,400. So our net cost would be somewhere in the area of $38,600. That would be for one round. And that would be based on delivering mulch to 80 properties and $30 per load, which is a very good deal. We're talking about 5 yards delivered for $30, so I would not want to change.
Now, we should add that to here though, because you only have the brush pickup, we don't talk about the mulch.
Yeah.
Well, the call I got said that it wasn't, they didn't like the burning permit, still on the burning permit. And they said it wasn't fair that the burning permit was only $10 and that the brush pickup was $30. Said they should be even.
Well, should we?
Well, I told them,
Say it, bro, we're burning up to $30, you want it?
well, they were against burning altogether because of the smoke and the ozone and that.
Yeah.
They didn't like that. But they didn't like to pay the $30 for the brush either.
You know, if it was the whole town getting the service, it's equitable.
Well, I don't foresee it getting any easier, you know, and the people aren't getting any younger. But, you know, with that emerald ash borer, I got 5 trees that gotta come down this spring. I mean, they were dead in the fall. They were dead by July.
Sorry, burn them.
You're lucky you only have 5.
But I don't use that. I haul it down in the back and I burn it. So, but I got equipment to do that, you know.
You know, I'd like to see an option where we had a dumpster here where people could just drop off their brush and throw it in the dumpster and not be charged for it. So there is a way for them to get rid of their material without having to pay for it.
And that would be a good option for the off-season. So if we're doing spring pickup, that would not be a bad idea because people are going to have emergency situations with storm damage. And I know I rounded up my grandkids one time. We had some major damage to a maple tree after pickup. So I called John and he says, here, I said, can it be over to town hall? But they had cleaned up all the mulching from the prior pickup, so it worked good. So I rounded up the grandkids, threw it in the trailer, rolled it over. But I would agree with Jeff on that for the off-season. Just have maybe a couple of days or a week.
We had a proposal for a service that was gonna have an individual here on the weekend. Because John wasn't in favor of having just a dumpster, you know, because they'll dump, they won't get it in the dumpster, people will be too old, it's gonna get dumped.
If people
They just
look
leave it
at
on there.
with Gary, you'll find a couch in there or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So we should revisit that if we're gonna do that, I think. We had that proposal from, one of the garbage collection places, I can't recall which one.
Or at least have it inside the fenced-in area where they can really dump during our hours of the DPW.
Yeah,
So it's not, so it's not happening after hours. That's
Yeah,
when
it's not,
the stuff's gonna show up that's not supposed to be in there, yeah.
Well, you know, like I said, I don't use it. I'm open for anything, you know, people who, it's only gonna get, if you look at 16 to 18, it's about 70 people, 75 people more every year, and it's gonna get more
yeah.
because of that emerald ash borer. So getting rid of it, I don't think is an option, because what are the people gonna do with that stuff?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they'd have to either burn it or haul it away or get somebody to beg, borrow, and steal something. I don't know, you know.
I don't wanna dump in my yard, so.
Well, that's what you run into.
You know, you don't give them an option, you're gonna find something.
Vacant land, they'll be getting dumped on it, and we'll get calls from that. And
No, it's better to control it. I would suggest that we look at,
the only thing I don't like is I don't like the distribution of that, because we don't treat those chips.
no.
If we're gonna,
Well, we avoid
distribute
ourselves
them.
in liability with the
I
same.
know it, but still, people are gonna want that stuff, and just because it's written on paper, it ain't, that stuff is getting shipped out, and that stuff is getting spread.
Well, if I were doing that, there would be ash board probably going in, cause I lost a bunch of those in the back myself.
Well, that's what I burn. You know, that's
Poison ivy too.
what's going in there.
Ivy, oak,
Well, poison ivy's pretty common around here.
yeah, they're very good.
Would we have liability if we charged somebody $30 for a delivery of wood chips and it turned out that there's some obnoxious type material in that delivery?
I don't know, people see
They are.
Statement?
There's, yeah, I know, I read the statement, but that's only on what people, you know.
I'd like to see us provide a service, but not become a private nuisance service, and I think that's where we were going before.
Right.
My other question was, how much brush is 20 minutes pickup?
How much?
Yeah, you know, how much,
I would say quite a bit with that new machine you use there, the grapple or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
you know, I'd be worried, okay, is that 20 minutes worth, or can I double that size? You know, what's,
For $30, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it says 20 minute limitation, but
I'm not anxious to get rid of the fee or modify it at all. I think we did a lot of work to come up with that number, and I think it's justifiable.
I'm not so much concerned about the $30 fee. I had people call that were concerned about paying the $30, and they were, I said, well, my main concern is that it takes 2 months out of the work schedule that the guys could be doing road repair or doing something more constructive than picking up brush. If you're going to pick up brush, I think, you know, I use the service. I put a lot of stuff out every year. And, you know, to me, that's a benefit to me as a resident, but also, I'm only one of 2,900 resident or properties in the town. You know, there's a bunch of people in the town that don't use the service, and they're have to pay for it along with.
Subsidizing.
They're subsidizing my brush pickup. So I think it's only fair that I should have to pay for that brush pickup, at least one pickup a year. You know, those 2 months because it takes 2 weeks on the east side of town, 2 weeks on the west side of town, twice a year. That's 2 full months that those guys, you'd be utilizing them doing something more constructive than picking up my brush, unless I'm willing to pay for it. That's my feelings on it.
With the calls I had, I try to explain to people that the board, part of our job is to look at services for the town and look at it from the standpoint of what are they willing to pay for. If they're not willing to pay for service, we shouldn't be looking to provide it. Don't shove it down their throat. But if they're wanting the service, you pay equitably in taxes to cover the service. And if you have extra things needed, like brush pickup, those have to be covered by the individuals that are getting it because it's not shared among the group. So most of them, when they heard that explained that way, that it's a small group that's doing this, and it's taking a lot of money for that small group. If you were to break it down individually by household, it's a fair number you're looking at, and we're not charging near that for what we're doing. If you were to go to a nursery and look at picking this stuff up, we did some comparisons. We're well within the cost of the nurseries in the area. So really, to me, it's very fair and equitable. So I'd like to keep it just about like we got it.
My thoughts would be more on the way that Jeff is, that if you got somebody that can get a trailer, or that doesn't want to pay the $30 fee for pickup.
Have an alternative.
Have an alternative, they can bring it down here and dump it off. And then they don't have to pay the $30.
Yeah, I can buy into that. But is that spring and fall you're talking about then?
I would say when the brush pickup is going on, that's a 2-week period.
So
And
we'll
then
limit it.
2-week period.
Well, yeah, we'd have to get some prices too. What, if we could just have a dumpster, what it would cost till we pick up once it got full, or we'd have to get some prices.
So we're back to a dumpster sitting there with nobody around, right?
Well, it'd have to be during town.
It'd be there for 2 weeks. It'd be during the brush pickup.
So we
And only.
leave it open during the day for them? Close it up at night?
Yeah, we'd close it up.
Because John, what he said was he's gonna end up brush laying outside of it.
Well, if it's
Because
near,
people will bring stuff they can push out of a trailer, but they won't be able to lift it to get it into the dumpsters, I
well,
recall.
I'm thinking too, if it's
And we don't want that.
kind of near dumpster's kind of near where it's being dumped anyway, if he's got to take the loader and push some stuff back into the bigger pile, it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I'm just trying to go with what, he had a concern, he wasn't nuts about it, and we were looking at.
Well, he might have
Well,
guidance.
you really think about it, is during the 2-week period, it'll be here, and then they can just push it into their pile.
Yeah.
We don't need a dumpster, and when they grind it, they
We're gonna
grind it
it
off.
up anyway. You know, we don't need a dumpster.
Just leave the fence open, huh?
Well, unless John's worried about too, about traffic, somebody driving with brush, the trucks coming in and out dumping brush.
Oh, they're busy.
Yeah, I mean.
I mean, when they're picking up brush, those trucks are coming, just so you know.
I know.
With another, trying to drive in and.
Yeah.
You'd be safer hiring somebody, a part-time person on the weekend,
Don't you?
and have it open.
It wouldn't take very much to fill up a dumpster.
We should talk to John, but yeah, it would, and there's a cost. They're not cheap anymore.
Nope.
There's gotta be a way to do it.
We should talk to John about,
Either putting
That's a
another
good
fence
idea.
in there and having them dump it, use it in the, dump it in that back parking lot.
give them a special spot
Yeah,
back
but-
there.
so it's not fenced in where the trucks are running in there,
Yeah,
and then open the fence up when they need, when we got the
Push it in.
grinder, have our guys pull
push
it
it
in.
in, yeah,
There's gotta be a way to do it.
I'm sure. We could work something out.
I mean, a couple of fence posts and a couple of gates,
Yeah,
and the fence is up there, and that back parking lot where the radio tower is back there. They could drive in there, dump it, drive out. They're fenced off. If our trucks are running and going,
Yeah.
they're not gonna be in there.
they normally hug the building pretty much anyway. So you
Yeah,
know, and
that's what I'm saying. They're up here and they'll go in the other lot there.
Sounds like a plan to me. You just ought to run that past John. and see what his thoughts
And it
are.
would be the 2 weeks during the pickup.
Yeah.
You can try it.
Yeah.
Town of Waukesha, city of New Berlin, as high as taxes are in the world, they do no pickup.
Waukesha.
Town of Waukesha.
Or town.
Town of Waukesha,
Jay can tell you.
yeah, there you go. So they've got a spot you can come in, dump it, and you can
Yeah.
eat.
Eliminates,
Berlin,
uh,
there's a huge
couple
parking
weeks
lot
worth
in the
of,
city hall where you can drive in there and dump it.
Yeah. Huh.
You know, another thing I was considering, kind of jumping ahead to our advisory referendum, what if we included topics like this also on the referendum? Try to get public feedback.
You can't do it on this. The only thing that can be on this ballot is these words.
Is
It has to be specific.
Are you sure?
That's what the state statute says.
No.
That's the only thing that can be on that ballot?
That's, I put the state statute in your packet.
It would be nice if we could ask some other questions about town issues and get feedback.
How many
Have
options,
to read that again.
how many options did you put on there?
That's how you word it.
Well,
what do you guys know?
California, 17 different options on there now. God. They got more referendums than you shake a stick with.
I'd like to people out to vote.
Yeah. Getting more every day.
That's for sure.
We'll look into that.
Want to put this on the agenda for follow-up with John? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to look at this.
Okay, so you wanna keep everything the way it is, or how do you wanna do that? You wanna just table this whole thing, or what do you wanna do, guys?
Before we do, I'd like to ask the clerk, Karen, on authorization form. Once again, we just talked about brush pickup, but we don't mention the chips. And they're both $30. Loaded chips or brush pickup. Nothing on this.
There's a it's two-sided.
Second page is just a release form.
That's what we use for brush. That's what we use for
So they have to
chips.
see this, in other words, so, okay. Yeah, I just thought it should be on the main, which is an authorization form.
We use one for pick,
Okay.
I'd like to see on there too, to define that 20-minute maximum, but basically how big a pile of, just how long by how high.
It hasn't changed.
Well, I mean, if I'm loading brush, it's like, is that 20 minutes worth or is that 10 minutes worth? You know, how much,
When I talked to John.
you know, we have an idea more of a size of a pile instead of a.
Yeah.
He puts that in the newsletter
Yeah,
at least
he
once
said
a year.
that with the equipment that they got now,
Yeah.
20 minutes can pick up an awful lot of brush, you know. With the grappler thing that they got,
Yeah.
he said they can go through pick up an awful lot of brush in 20 minutes. So,
I just gotta clarify a little bit better for the residents,
Yeah.
so they have a better idea of what
I don't remember what it was, but there was a time stated somewhere on, I thought it was a newsletter.
But there's a time, but how much can they pick up in that time?
Quite a bit.
I don't think they ever put a limit on the number of bundles you could have out
Yeah,
there.
yes, they do.
20 minutes worth.
Huh?
Yes, they
Well,
do,
time-wise,
and that's
yeah.
the problem. You have some people that comply, and some people, you can drive around and see some
Yeah.
people, it goes right across.
Oh, yeah.
But then they say, we heard you at the meeting, you could pick up quite a bit in 20 minutes. I mean, what's quite a bit, yeah.
I don't know.
You may
So what
find
do you
some
want?
leftovers in the yard.
So what do you wanna do with this item?
Can we put this on, to the next agenda to have John come and talk to us about the thoughts of going and letting the trailers come in?
Well, we can talk.
Dumpster, no dumpster,
So
fence?
do you wanna table it?
Yeah, please.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to table this until the next, hopefully, the next meeting if John can attend.
He's always at the first one.
Need a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Ordinance 2019-3 ordinance to repeal and recreate section 23-4, chapter 23, taxation and finance. Okay, again, this is a policy decision. Sharon's got this here. Madam Clerk, do you want to talk to these guys about this?
There is another section of this ordinance that also needs to be redrafted, the 23, the signature page. So my request is that typically always on, these are laws, typically you always have the attorney, it's totally up to you, but typically you have the attorney at least review what I'm doing. I would ask the board if you wouldn't mind if I redrafted it and sent it to the board for the next town board meeting, or do you want me just to redraft it and bring it to you?
So I'm going to read you what Macy says here. It says this is a policy decision. The clerk has prepared the first draft of the ordinance. The town board must, per town board policy, review the same and either continue working on the same, as the town clerk may corrections and or direct the town clerk to forward the same to me for legal review. Please make sure that all aspects of sections, and then we need 60.33, 60.34, 60.44, and 66.0607 of the state statutes are satisfied. In reviewing the town code, section 23.5A will also need to be amended. So you're talking about legal ease. And I'm not saying anything against Madam Clerk, but I would feel more comfortable if we would give her the latitude to work with the attorney so we could have something bring back that we know her and the attorney worked on together.
Two birds with one stone.
And you'll see them both. You'll see what I sent to him, and you'll see his red line, and then you'll see the clean.
Comments?
Not approved.
Anybody got any heartburn with any of that?
Nope.
It's gotta be right. And
Yeah.
we got 4 statutes to work within,
Yeah.
so. All right, I'm gonna make the motion.
Oh, I thought Ed did.
Did you, Ed? Okay, then I'll second.
Oh, I asked if you wanted a motion.
Yeah, we need a motion to do that.
Okay, and I will make a motion to ask the clerk, in unison with the attorney, to create and review the ordinance number 2019-03, and be sure that we do amend 23-5 and follow the 4 state statutes that are identified by the attorney. I think that covers it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So that'll be on the agenda for next time.
Absolutely.
If you need more time, just,
Well, I'll have it done.
okay. Then we have set date for advisory referendum for town and village of McGuanago border agreement. So,
Strong water.
People are gonna drink it back.
what are you gonna do with this?
We have to set a date. That's what is implied by the request for the petition.
And the state statutes are pretty clear, and in my memorandum, I indicated, your choice.
Specific to the referendum question, it specifically states in the statute what the referendum has to state, right?
It states what's on the ballot.
Right. All we have to do is determine when the date is.
Yes.
Karen gave us between April 12th and May 12th.
And April, just to let you know, April 11th is that's too early. I can't get, the county's got a program, the ballot, not that that's big, but they're in the middle of finishing some of the referendums that were done on the 19th. They've got an election on the 2nd. And then I have to work with the printer, because this is a separate election. So if you could stay away from that closest date, that would be helpful to the county and myself. Then I have to get my election workers all set up for this special election also.
So targeting near the end of April would be best.
Yeah, the more time you could give the county and the printer, the better, but it's totally up to the board.
And we can't add anything else to that?
I can check with the State Elections Commission tomorrow. But your question regarding the cooperative border plan, that's the verbiage that you can only use. And I can check with the State Elections Commission tomorrow on if there can be things added.
So it'll be the same type where you just gotta draw
The circle.
you circle, the machine can count this.
It'll be a legal size ballot, even if this is the only question on there. 'Cause I already talked to the printer to see if I could get a little, and he said no. Yeah.
What's the advantage of the whole page?
What's the advantage what's the anticipated cost of this thing?
Well, the ballots are probably going to be about $3,000 just for the ballots.
What about labor for
Probably
clerks
another
and stuff like that?
$3,000.
So
And do we have to have both town hall and fire station election places? You can't do it just one?
So you're talking about approximately $6,000 to do this, and it's an advisory referendum.
Yes.
So people are aware that's going to cost the taxpayer $6,000 approximately to do this.
And I can't just have 5. I can't have 5 poll workers. That's too little.
Yeah.
I have to have a minimum. I'd have
Do you
at least
any
7.
budget for this by any chance?
Yes. I didn't budget for this, but I did budget for 2 elections. I didn't budget the ballots though. So just so you know, I would not have budgeted for ballots because I pay ballot costs, but nothing like $3,000.
Oh, I just upset with the idea that it's going to cost us about $6,000.
I don't see anything in here that it says it's gotta be, you can't have other things on the ballot.
Well, I would feel more comfortable checking with the Elections Commission.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You what?
I would check with the State Elections Commission.
Can you do
That's what I said I would do.
that? Yeah.
You know, some of the ideas I had for other questions,
Grant.
you know, we always have issues with residents complaining about our funding park and rec.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be self-funded.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
You know, something along that lines. Maybe, sheriff services, the town in favor of that expense. I have a feeling most of the stuff they're going to say, whatever, in favor of keeping the taxes low, don't want to spend money, but there would be some,
Keep the taxes low.
Lot of
and have a
options, yeah.
referendum.
you know,
Just for a tidbit on Park and Rec, in 2009, I looked back there, we were funding that, the town was funding that $95,000. And now we're at 58 or 54, something like that. That's how we bring that in.
That was
So,
back when Zimmer was running, we didn't really have a.
and that was the first year it was funded. There were no other, it's got a big blank there.
Yeah.
There's no other records or anything.
No.
And that was in '09.
You know, another question I thought of too would be like, are the residents want a community center where we have a gymnasium? That would help the Park and Rec out quite a bit if they could have their own gym.
Sorry.
When you went to California,
Did you take any of that hemp?
No, but I mean, that's
pardon me, but,
yeah, but, you know, these are just questions to throw out there where you get residents.
Get your money's worth.
I was good right up to that last one.
You know, it's just, we got a whole page, those ballots are big.
Yeah, well, they might want a community swimming pool, you know.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'll email the State Elections Commission tomorrow and get a written response from their legal department, and I'll forward you also, because if that's something you can do.
Nice to have.
But But if you're thinking that way, your referendum date should be much later. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying, we need time for guys who want to put something on there.
How's 424?
right on Easter? The 20,
It's gotta be
21st.
It's gotta be before, the May 12th, yeah.
how about April 30th?
Huh?
April 30th? Everybody's back from spring break.
That's a Tuesday.
It doesn't have to be a Tuesday, but Tuesdays are always good.
Well, that's the 30th, so.
Or if you do the first Tuesday in May, that's normally when election days are, May 7th. Well, although I'll look at the referendum, we had it May 19th. Tuesdays, whatever
Later,
date.
the better the weather as you get into the, you know.
I would say the 14th might be better, than the problem 14th. Tuesday the 14th of May.
Well, you can't go
It has
after.
to, yeah, it has to be
Well,
before the 12th.
You go right up to 10th.
May 7th.
May 9th? Yeah, May 7th, May 9th.
7th is the one you just said. I gotta see what I got on the 6th here.
Is there a restriction on the hours, Karen? Does it have to be open from 7 to 8?
And we'll do absentee ballots. Anybody that's got absentee ballots that are permanent and, or for the year, or it's a regular, it's a regular.
election?
The only thing that's not done is it's not modem into the county, and the canvassing is done here.
Okay.
Will you have the cost of this by the time we have that first?
I'll have the cost next, I'll have it by the next town board agenda.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about by the,
Folks, we got border review on May 6th.
No, that hasn't been established.
That was the target date, wasn't it, based on,
Yeah, but he's still reviewing.
oh. Get rid of that?
Still
Yeah.
reviewing the property.
He's still reviewing the assessment roll.
Okay. That's what I asked.
If you're looking May the 7th, 8th, or 9th, well, you couldn't do the 8th, that's Plan Commission. 7th or 9th. Or April 30th, you could do it on a Monday. I mean, as long as we give the public enough notice of, when that election is.
we got that public information on the 26th. Do we have the price by then?
Oh, yes, yep.
Definitely, because the people should know what that's gonna be. For that information, we should have the price for that stuff.
Yeah.
I like the last Tuesday in April and the first Tuesday in May. It's easier to remember from.
I like the first Tuesday in May.
May 7th,
What do you think?
that works fine for me.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion for the first Tuesday in May.
I'll second
Anybody got a time for
Oh, I'm not here. No.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I know Supervisor Moline made the motion. Was it Supervisor?
I did.
I know you made the
Mr.
motion.
Craig.
Okay. Thank you, board members.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Alrighty.
Report on repayment of mileage reimbursement claim by the treasurer. Supervisor 3. Eddie?
I'm sorry?
Agenda item
Oh,
G.
still right on the last one.
All right.
I've sent 2 emails to the sheriff's department regarding the money owed by the treasurer. Have not had a response back yet, and the treasurer has not come forward with any suggestions for a payment program. So it's still sitting in limbo. It is with the detectives at the police department, so it's got that far. And hopefully I'll get a response on that pretty soon. That's all I have at this point.
Okay. Any other comments? No? All right. Correspondence and announcements. Bill, we'll start with you.
I wanted to bring this up when the fire chief and assistant were here, but it was kind of off the subject at the time. But I've seen these emails, as I'm sure you guys have, going back and forth about shoveling out these storage tanks.
Yeah.
And I think in one response, Alex had said, well, we can do it, but we'll need other equipment. I think he also alluded to the fact that they haven't been used overall in quite a while. So I guess my question is, do we need to worry about shoveling them out? And if we do, I personally don't think our fire department should be out there shoveling it out. I think if it comes to shoveling it out, I think DPW would be doing it. So apparently, there's been no precedent. I'm sure this winter they're more aware of having issues getting at them than they ever were. But I don't think, our fire department guys put out pretty good as it is, remodeling jobs and everything else. I don't want to send them out to shovel out these tanks. So if it has to be done, I think DPW should do it. We've got the equipment. And if the board feels we even need to do it, it seems to be questionable.
Well, I think we started with the fire department doing an inspection on them, which are supposed to report to Karen.
He's not
If
supposed
they're
to
not
be.
usable,
This
put
ain't
things
on
on
the
the
agenda.
Should
It's
be
not
on
an
the-
agenda item, guys.
yeah.
It's just a comment. You want to put on it for
Yeah.
an agenda item?
Yeah.
So what do you want to do in the interim? That's another couple of weeks away from it. You want to get them shoveled off? Are those tanks involved with the ISO rating?
It's a water, it's part of a water supply.
I don't know that. Gary, would you know?
I can't remember
No.
verbatim
They're not?
if they were discussed. Nope. But we looked at this last year, and I thought we decided at that point in time that the DPW would be responsible to clear them, and that the fire department was responsible to inspect them. I could swear we had that.
That's why I sent you the email.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not
You can
an
listen.
agenda item, guys, so.
Okay, let's put it on next.
And the other issue I have is, in the last 6 to 8 months, I got several calls regarding the fire department shower facility. And I referred the party, I said to the party, someone on the fire department should approach the board. If there's an issue or concern, come to the board. Just calling me about it, I don't have the inside information. It had to do with male, female use of the same shower, some people being uncomfortable, and I kept repeating every time I got a call, have someone in the fire department come to the board. I'm at every meeting and I've never heard anyone from the department talk to us about anything having to do with
Till tonight.
till tonight. And then of course, the TV interview pops up, and I had been emailed yesterday late afternoon a summary of how carcinogenic some of this stuff is. Never saw that before now, and that popped up last night. And now, of course, that thing was on TV, and now the chief and assistant are in here, which is fine. But I'm trying to figure out why in the world, why are we finding this out now? It's so far down the road. And I've repeatedly told people, have the fire department contact the board. It's not something for a board member. I have no idea what shower facilities are. So anyway, I'm just curious what the communication chain has been here, because I don't think any of us were aware of the shower thing in any way. First of all, the facility being inadequate. Secondly, now having these cancer, which I'm not doubting at all, but why is this all just coming up right now at this time?
Last I heard, we had done quite a bit of renovation on that shower, because it was in bad shape. But they did put
This
in
isn't
install
an
and
agenda
stuff.
item, this ain't an agenda item either, this is Bill's comment.
Yeah.
So I think we should put that on the agenda as an item to be discussed in the future.
I got it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. You can comment now, Ed, if you want to comment on it.
Well,
I just don't want to discuss it because it isn't an agenda item.
No, I just asked that Karen put the notice for the chief or Pat or somebody to come in and talk about that. We don't have the info.
No.
So to put it on the agenda doesn't mean if we don't know what we're trying
Well, it
to do.
gives us 2 weeks to get it.
Huh?
It gives us 2 weeks to dig around and get it.
Yeah. I can make a call too.
I would suggest that all of the guys, if they have time,
Take it down.
supervisors,
Go down there?
take a stop down there, say hi to the guys, and ask one of them to
Sure.
give
Take
you
a shower.
No, I don't take a shower. See what it is, and make your own
Yeah.
decision on what's going on there. I know what it is. I looked at it.
Yeah. What's a one-person shower, the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it's right next door to the washer dryer.
Yeah. That's the only shower there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
that I know.
Yeah.
I know of another, no, I'm kidding.
Now station 2 has showers.
Yeah.
So,
Nobody uses that station, I don't think.
Gary,
If Ed had anything.
are you done yet? Ed, are you done?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody about the Lions offering funding. Should come up with something to present to them. I'll be happy to present it and come up with ideas of what needs might be here that we could use that funding for. That's it.
Gary?
I had one call in regard to the brush pickup, and I talked to them at length in regard to that. Hopefully that the person is satisfied with the explanation, and I'm sure that they'll probably be listening to this discussion this evening, and maybe I'll get another call in regard to that, but other than that, I didn't have any other information at the present time.
Ted?
Yeah, I had one phone call about brush pickup. They're upset they were charging for that. Also had another phone call about our boundary agreement. I just want to remind people that we have our informational meeting coming up at the 26th.
And of February and March.
Then again later in March.
Next week.
So please come to these meetings and ask your questions. They're very informal. It's not going to be a formal type meeting. Just we'll be here to answer your questions, look at the maps, and get the information you need so you're informed about what's going on.
Okay. And I'd like to just thank Merle for the commentator for the forum we had Tuesday night, and Mr. Riley for putting it on, and the timekeeper. They did a great job. Everybody, it was real informative. So I'd just like to thank you people publicly again. It was a great job. It would have probably been a little better if the other ones would have showed up, but that's all right. We got to talk for twice as long. All right. Madam Clerk?
All I just needed to state is that just reminding people that if they're not on the indefinitely confined list for absentee voting, you can do that online. You can ask for an absentee ballot online. You can come to the clerk's office. You can email me if I have your driver's license, which we keep anyone that has provided. It's locked in the safe. So if I have your driver's license, we can do that by email. So absentee ballot voting is very easy. As Supervisor Jeff Milley said, we do have that meeting on the 26th from 6:30? 5 to 7, both nights, the 26th of March, 26th of February from 5 to 7. Everybody's going to be getting a letter on that. And they also should save the date of March 13th for the informational meeting on the comprehensive land use, on the proposed comprehensive land use plan. Those are very important dates, and they...
that playing on the YouTube, the forum?
Yes, and it is on, the forum is being rebroadcast on Channel 25, the Spectrum channel, and then also on YouTube.
What are the times again? Things are being broadcast on Spectrum?
On Spectrum, oh gosh, noon, 3, 5, and 3 in the morning. If you look on the website, it tells you exactly when they're replayed. Yeah, 3 in the morning. So if you really can't sleep, tune in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Joseph has a comment.
Public comments.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Public comments? We'll get you in. Yeah. We'll get you.
Oh, Mr.
Madam, do you have anything on for the forensic audit?
Yes, I just wanted to let you know that I did contact the forensic examiners in the city of Milwaukee, and a couple of them are putting some proposals together for you. But I just wanted to let you know that the charge is anywhere from $250 an hour to $300 an hour.
Anybody willing to guess for the max?
We haven't even gotten that far. They're just putting some things together. When I told them you're going back to 2010, they were really happy.
Oh, yeah.
To see how far you're going
They're retiring on this one.
They gave us a less expensive rate then?
In 2010, it's 9 years.
So,
Ooh, yeah. I could do a whole lot of hours.
Yeah. No, we gotta have.
Job like that, $250 an hour, yeah.
All right. Finance, approval of accounts payable dated February 21st, 2019.
I sent Karen an email with everything I could find on here. It wasn't much. It was the $70 sales tax on CIT. And I was missing the which I got. And that's all I have.
Karen, I saw a bill in there I had a question about. It was software for the treasurer's office. Is that a yearly subscription? So that tax software that you're going to utilize?
I probably won't use it.
You won't use it? So we're gonna be paying for about 3 months. Do we get prorated on that maybe if,
I could talk to him and ask him. But I think that, well, she needs it now, so.
yeah, she needs it now, updated now?
Well, that's how she's done her tax collection from all of
Okay.
January.
All right, I was just wondering if that office is gonna combine in April, if the tax software is gonna be used after April. You know, we're gonna be paying for a year's worth of subscription with no benefit out of it.
Well, the other thing that's going to change too, when people pay their taxes and they do their dog license and burn permit, they can do that all in one check.
Yeah.
You know, for years it's all separate. So there's going to be changes, but I can tell you that's one thing that's going to change is when people write a check, it's got to be the right amount, but it's going to be it's all combined. There's not all separate checks. So, and I'll look into that, Supervisor Wiley.
Okay, thank you.
But she does need that now.
Okay.
And how much is it?
$440 some dollars. It just,
You can't get a month subscription to it?
I can ask them.
Yeah.
We gotta do something
Ask
that.
them which month they actually cancel the subscription.
I think she's going to want it till she leaves.
just seems like a needless expense after April. You know,
Yeah.
we're paying for something that we're not going to be utilizing.
For a whole year.
Yeah.
I can check.
And
Okay, thank you.
The reason she needs it is just an update on her software?
No, she's actually, the treasurer actually collects till technically January 31st, but the state extended that into February 7th. So she utilizes that for her tax collection.
When did it run out?
I'm assuming that subscription is from January to December. And so when people call her about where their taxes paid, she goes into that. That's the software she utilizes to look up the information the resident needs or property owner needs.
You don't need this.
No. Is that yeah.
This is my garbage.
That's the ACH one I do need.
This one?
Yeah. Yep.
Signed?
Yep. Well, they have to approve it.
So is the amount on the accounts payable including that sales tax error at Founders?
Yes, in fact, I sent the email to the board. I'm asking the board to pay that bill with the tax because this happened previously. And I also sent you the email from our agent that's going to not only because I'm going to go back and just double check because this happened once before. They refunded every penny we paid, but I just want to just double check. They're definitely refunding the 70, but I just want to make sure that we haven't, and make sure that it doesn't happen again.
I might have missed some of those.
Right. So I'm asking the board to approve it, knowing full well you'll see next month that refund.
Get credit.
Yes, yes.
Okay. In that case, nobody else has any questions?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable, lot number 201-90221 in the amount of $88,761.76.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of manual checks, Madam Clerk? Do you have any?
Yes, there was the $23, your purple form is $23.95 for Culligan. And I just want to thank Crossmark Graphics. That is a manual check. When you saw the other fees from the other vendors, that was a great favor that they did for the town for these special mailings. You saw the other vendor that we usually work with. I called another one, which was twice what our normal was. So just want to do a little plug for Crossmark Graphics in New Berlin. Thank you.
When should the residents be receiving the letter?
Any day now.
Okay.
It's out.
Yeah, it went out Tuesday morning. There was no mail Monday, but they went out Tuesday morning.
Yeah, President's Day, Monday. I'll make a motion to approve manual check for Grossman Graphics and Culligan. Can I do them together?
Yeah, just the amount,
Culligan
Dad.
of Waukesha in the amount of $1,231.37. Yeah, that's the fine total. isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. ACH transactions for January.
Thank you, sir.
Question on the ACH. Karen, is it possible to print out a chart of accounts with the numbers on so we know when we're looking at this stuff what these accounts tie out to?
That should be on. Is this? I hope this isn't what this is. Did you just get one page?
Yeah. What? Yeah, just one page of ACH.
You just got the payroll. You didn't get the other page.
No.
Oh,
This is just-
oh, yeah. That the accounts are right on there.
Yeah. What are you asking?
You asked for a chart of accounts and what they apply to.
He's here.
No.
This
our
is
full
payroll.
chart of accounts. Our total chart of accounts. I'd like to see all the
Oh, absolutely. But it doesn't read. Just so you know.
No, it doesn't. I wasn't
Oh.
referring to this one at all. It's just the numbers came up and I thought, geez, what are the other ones?
Oh, that's absolutely no problem because
Thank
it's
you.
going to be by fund. So you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, no one has any questions. I went through this one out. I'll make a motion to approve the ACH for January 2019 in the amount of $103,950.89.
I'll second it. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Supervisor Moline, I just want to let you know you're going to see some accounts in there that you don't see on your financials because they're new, but they're coming.
That's another reason I was asking for the
Yep.
chart. You know, it'd be nice to know what all those are as you review. We used to have that where I worked.
I'll print them out for you and then I'll send it in digital format, just so you always have it in your digital
cool.
file.
Thank you.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Approval of minutes, February 7th, 2019.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to let you know that Supervisor Bill Craig called and asked if we could just clarify under announcements, correspondence, and reports, under Supervisor Bill Craig's comments, he didn't have any issues. He just wanted it restated where it ends in the spring. He talks about the brush pickup. It would continue on to say, Supervisor Bill Craig stated he called several residents who signed the petition for the border agreement and questioned them as to why they signed the petition, period. In the next sentences, they said they were not informed on the issues, period. So that's the only change to the minutes. He just wanted to clarify that he went from talking from brush pickup to the border agreement and his calls and what he received. So that was the only change I made at the last minute.
No, yeah, that clarification, that's all it is.
Just so people clearly understood what Supervisor
Now,
Bill...
the two kind of ran together, so
Yeah,
someone
right.
didn't want some meeting.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, can you remind everyone that Brian Steele is coming on Tuesday?
I will.
Who's coming?
Brian Steele, Congressman,
Oh,
is coming on Tuesday,
What time?
10:30? 10 to 11:30. It's on Brian Stile. He replaced.
Why don't you just tell them?
Well, Congressman, I gotta put my microphone on. Yeah, Congressman Brian Steele is coming this Tuesday from 10 to 11:30 at the Vernon-Town Hall.
Oh.
He's going to come take questions, do a town hall meeting, wants to hear from the residents. And as you know, he replaced Congressman Paul Ryan. So just wanted to let you know. Yay!
So we got the minutes here. Is there a motion to accept?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain since I wasn't present.
That's what you were in sunny California.
Too sunny
It wasn't sunny.
or too warm.
February 13th.
Make a motion to approve minutes from February 13th, the Board of Supervisors meeting.
I'll second
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next meeting date is Town Board, March 7th, 2019. We have a Vernon-McGuanago informational meeting, the 26th of February from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And from March 26th from 5 to March 26th, isn't that one of our town board meetings? Or isn't that? No? Okay. From 5 to 7 also. Then there's a comprehensive land use amendment information meeting, March 13th, 5 to 7 p.m. And then there's a candidates forum, March 19th. And the weather date is March 20th, 2019. So we've got a lot of dates here to meet the public, which is great. Town of Vernon annual meeting, April 16th, 2019, 7 p.m. These will all be up on the website, so if you miss the dates there, you can go to the website or you can call the clerk's office.
Absolutely.
And she will have those. Public comments, any public comments?
Joseph, fix the microphone.
Again, Joe Riley, South 67 West 24425.
Here's the mic, Joe.
Skyline.
Tip the mic up.
There you go. Joe Riley, South 67 West 24425 Skyline Avenue. In regards to the DVD, the tape of the candidates forum, Vernon Candidates Forum, number one, a lot of people haven't got cable. They continue to drop cable. Okay, the more convenient thing to do is to go to YouTube. If you don't know about YouTube, ask your son or daughter, ask your grandchildren. They'll be glad to do it for you. There's a lot of information that was discussed about the town of Vernon, its future and what have you, the night before last. Okay, and it's more convenient. You can download it, or if you choose now not to download it, have someone bookmark it for you. You can go back to it. Watch it in increments. 10 minutes, 15 minutes here. Think about what you heard. Go back to it again. Why? Stay informed about what's happening in your town of Vernon. If you love it, you should care about it enough to inform yourself, and I'm sure you will. Okay, thank you very much.
I've got a question, Joe.
Yes.
You said it's on YouTube.
Yes.
Is there any special way you gotta get
Yes,
to
all
that?
you do, you go into the search right in front of YouTube, on the front page when you get to YouTube, there's a search box. You just write in Town of Vernon, okay? And you could also use the phrase Vernon Candidates Forum, the # number 1. It'll get you right there. It's just been downloaded, okay? And that was done for the convenience of the people in the town of Vernon so that they could become informed, okay? And it'll come right up for you, okay? The clarity is great. The sound is great. All right. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Any other public comments? Hey, Jay.
Hi, Jay Pecker, W258-F7005, Oakdale Road. First of all, just a tidbit from tonight, I have worked that town of Waukesha yard waste many times, and I do know that the cost for that yard waste collection over there is put on their garbage collection cost. But what I'm really up here for is, I wish I could have spoke before the tragedy that happened in the town of Waukesha. I really encourage our people to really take inventory of the smoke, of their smoke detectors in their house. You know, if they are old, you know, get them replaced. And I believe code now is one on each level, and I think one in each bedroom. So if I could really say this to our people, to really get some good protection, update and add more smoke detectors if you could. I mean, I certainly would not want to see what happened in the town of Washington happen to anyone in the town here. But second of all, this is the time of the year that they usually happen. I really encourage people to make sure that if they do burn wood for heat or have a fireplace, make sure that the people are cleaning their chimneys regularly. You know, all of you know I burn wood for heat. I burn like maybe 60% wood and let the gas take over during the day. Before there was a wood stove on my fireplace and it was not hooked up properly, I did find out that there was an evidence of a chimney fire in one of my flues, and it happened way before I bought my house. And what's the other thing I'm trying to think? If you burn a lot of wood for heat, you know, it's best to have your chimney serviced once, cleaned out and serviced once a year. I push through about maybe 3 full quarts a year, and mine is burning hot all the time. So whenever I clean mine, hardly anything comes out. But I would like to show our people that anybody that does any wood burning in their house, these things are called chimfexes. If by chance you would realize you're having a chimney fire, you know, first of all, call your fire department to get them on the way. And what these do, it's almost like a flare. You just strike it like this and just set it right next to the fire. What this does is it emits a smoke that kills oxygen going up the flue. Because when a chimney fire happens, it will do damage to your chimney. So I encourage people to have at least 2 of these
Roof
around.
on fire too.
I'm sorry?
It starts your roof on fire.
Oh, sure.
Your house.
Well, the
Sure.
telltale sign of a chimney fire is you can hear it roaring.
Roaring.
Inside, when you go outside, you see the flames shooting
Yeah,
out the top.
chimney.
You better call the
Not a
fire
good thing.
department. Yeah, call the fire department, because by that time, it's probably, there's probably damage done to the chimney, they gotta be replaced
It breaks
because
through
they'll, yeah.
Breaks through the walls to my house.
Sure. When I looked at it when it was from my dealer, he showed me pictures, and there are cracked flue tiles.
Yep.
But I'm okay now because the wood burner's on the fireplace. I have to have a separate 6-inch liner going all the way up to the top. So if I could really encourage our people,
That's a
to
good
burn
idea
wood.
there.
Yeah, I like that.
What's that called, Jay?
This is called Chimfex. You can get these online. You can order them off Amazon.com. And if the people really want to see how they work in action, all you just have to do is
Go to YouTube?
go to YouTube and put Chimfex in there, and there's
YouTube,
many
Yeah.
videos that will show you how to use
Okay.
it.
Be something
We've
just
had
to keep
these
close to your fireplace.
Chim Flex?
Chimfex.
Flex.
Yeah.
We've had these for over 40 years. I have 2 of them, and my parents have them, and we've even had them when we
Did
were.
you say you get those
That's great.
couldn't you get those at Home Depot or someplace you said?
I don't know if Menards is selling them or not, but you
Look
can
at it.
check.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to keep one close to your fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they are things that you have to keep away from, like.
Oh, yeah,
kids
yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
but I mean, don't put it, I understand, you know,
Your
but
dog.
keep it someplace
Birthday
handy
cakes.
in case you do get a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it
Sure.
When you were smoking hemp.
Is that the brand name, Jay? In other words, is that the brand name you gave us?
Or
Or
that was,
No, chimney vest. You know, I encourage people to have them, because in case they realize they're having one, just drop them in and just make sure all drafts are
yeah,
closed. But I do want to say that, you know, chimney fires can also happen with what you call illegal hookups. It's like, the people want to add those
yeah.
add-on furnaces right next to their main and put it on the same chimney as
Yep.
gas or oil. I don't know how to say this to our people, but they're really playing Russian roulette doing that.
Not
They're
legal.
putting practically double the creosote in your chimney.
Yeah.
Illegal.
I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't think the insurance company
All
will
right,
cover you.
thanks, Jake.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay.
It's an expensive.
Any other public comments?
Insurance won't cover you if you have.
Any other public comments? No other public comments? Chairman announce possible closed session. Consideration and possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin State Act 19.85, Pren 1, Pren E. Deliberating and negotiating of the purchase of public properties, investing public funds, or conducting other specified business whenever competitive bargaining reasons require a closed session. More negotiating for a board agreement with the City of New Berlin. Included in the closed session will be the Vernon-Town Board of Supervisors, Town Clerk, and Town Attorney by phone if needed. Motion requires a roll call vote. I'll make the motion.
Chairman Thomas Byrd.
Yes.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Yes.
Supervisor Gary Wilde.
Yes.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Yes.
Supervisor Bill Craig. Mr. Chairman, note for the record that your town board voted unanimously by roll call vote to go into closed session.
Okay.
It's now 8.
Oh, let's say 8:25. Thanks, Jay, for coming. Everybody want
Thanks, Jay. That's
Take a-
interesting.
to take a little break there?
Oh, are you on break now?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
What do you,